Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. I'm James Haskell, along with my co-host Glenn Martin. Of course, we are here to discuss the Baltimore Ravens' loss to the Oakland, to the Las Vegas Raiders. So final score 29-20, 26-23. The Baltimore Ravens lose. Tough one, home opener. But yeah, we're here to talk about it. We're here to have a therapy session with you guys, get through all of it. But Glenn, before we do, of course, as always, we got to let the folks know who it is that keeps the lights on here at 410 Sports Talk, and who it is that makes all this possible. And Glenn, I'm going to pass it over to you to let the folks know what's going on.
Yeah, this live recap and reaction is brought to us by BetOnline, which is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on while the games are being played. You think you know your stuff? Get in on the $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. When the games are over, head on over to the online casino and get in a hand of blackjack or some poker, or unwinding with over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Bet online, the game starts here.
Yes, well, the game starts at BetOnline, but it ends at M&T Bank Stadium with a loss. Of course, like I said, 26-23. We got a lot to get into. And we've done this. We do this in a number of ways. But Glenn, I'm just going to pass the mic to you here to kind of get things off your chest. I don't know if you want to go in chronological order. I don't know if we would go position group, because everybody has plenty of blame here. You start wherever you like. I'll wrap.
You can't lose this game. You lose the home opener to Gardner Minshew and the Raiders. You blow a 10-point lead with under 10 minutes to go in a game in which you're honoring some pretty big losses to the Ravens Nation with Joe D and Jacoby Jones. His whole family's there. Ray Lewis is there. And the way they lost that game, the lackluster ending, after seemingly putting some things together after half, to end the game the way they did on those last 3 possessions, absolutely pathetic, both offensively and defensively down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Again, coaching errors when it comes to who the hell is telling Harbaugh when to challenge and when not to? It's unfucking believable, Jimbo, how we're still throwing the challenge flags and wasting timeouts that always prove to be hugely important at the end of the half or in the game. I just don't understand. It's a complete, and then Justin Tucker, what the hell happened? You got Carlson coming into your backyard and just splitting the uprights from 50 plus. I have zero confidence in Justin Tucker from 50. This is why you're the GOAT. You're the one who okay, but over 50, Tucker can make it, but no one else seems to. He can't do shit from over 50. He's trash from over 50. Horrible. He's Matt Stover now, reincarnated. Yeah, under 50, okay. Over 50, forget about it. So much blame. You got 5 yards rushing from Derrick Henry at halftime. What the hell kind of offensive line experiment has this been, Jimbo? Disastrous, Jimbo. This was disastrous.
Yeah, you went through a lot of it, and I wanted to mention that. I think obviously the special teams are a big reason we lost this game, from the botched punt to the 2 missed field goals, if I'm not mistaken. So that was hideous and just terrible, and not something you expect. And the tough part for me is that they were obviously every field goal is pressurized, but they were all pressurized moments. And Stout is starting to create a trend. When punts are needed in big moments, they somehow go off the outside of his foot and go out of bounds. I don't like that.
Yep.
Stop worrying about your hair and punt the ball. So anyway, that's a little frustrating. Obviously, Justin Tucker, like you said, I'm nervous. I think that Justin Tucker does have a really high level mentality, though, and I think he'll find a way to turn it around. I'm more concerned about. I hate that botched punt, man. The botched punt that was a dagger in the side and so unnecessary. It's like, dude, I know this sounds simple, but you have one job. Like in that exact punt, like your only job is kick the ball as far as you can. Mm-hmm. Like, I know that sounds elementary, but like there's no trick shots, there's no spin, just kick it far. You know what I'm saying? That's what you want to do. And so, anyway, that was really frustrating. But to your point, same thing with John. The one thing I think you didn't mention was the penalties. Derrick Henry got 2 penalties. Of course, Ronnie Stanley with 2 penalties, I believe.
Bullshit PI on Marlon, though. Bullshit.
Yeah, well, and even the one
horrible PI.
Yeah, the one on Marlon was ridiculous. Even the one with Brandon Stevens in the end zone, I feel like when there's mutual engagement, it's still a wash. To me, I understand why they called that one much more. Marlon's was ridiculous, but even the one in the end zone, it was horrible. Still
horrible. No, it was horrible because he initiated all the contact.
Right, that's what I'm saying. When you run into the defender and then you turn around, hold him, you hold each other, and then you try and rip off of him. Like,
dude,
at what
the
point?
DB played the ball. The wideout didn't.
Right. No, you're exactly. He played the man.
Oh, and then Sedarian. Metabike, since when is just... dude, what a tackle. He mauled him like a bear. Just fucking grabbed his chest and threw him to the ground, and he get robbed with a face mask. Oh.
Yeah, no, that was... And you have the benefit of the you can see it. Yes. It's right there in 80,000
Isn't there a ref in the booth who's supposed to call down in these scenarios?
That one. Do you remember a long time ago, Glenn, when Drew Brees stand in front of a mic and said, "Oh, I knew it was a penalty based on how hard I got hit against the Niners game." See, at the end of a night, like that was the same thing where it was like his head snapped back, but because of the force, because Matabike's got a meat sleeve on his arm and he just absolutely destroyed him. That's not his fault.
No,
like come on,
he hit him like a lot. He swiped him like a lion would, dude, and just pawed his chest and just crippled his body and got a 15-yard penalty. Horrible.
Yeah,
horrible.
So the penalties to me were also obviously another thing. And this is the thing I'm struggling with. I am not a fire John Harbaugh guy, and we are 2 weeks in. But the thing for me that I'm struggling with, Glenn, and the alignment penalty on the special teams, it's these little – it doesn't look like a John Harbaugh coached team right now.
No. And there's no excuse. There's no excuse. Let me see the penalties here. Last I saw, we had 9 for over 100 yards. 11 penalties for 109 yards compared to 3 for 15, Jimbo. What are we doing? Shumal Malik says, not one to hop on the Fire Harbs train, but that was some of the worst game management I've seen from him. Yeah, it was. And that's saying a lot. And yes, it is saying a lot, but we always blow a stupid game to a team we have no business losing to. Yes, absolutely. Last year was the Colts. This year, it's absolute. I mean, this game, they got players. My God, Max Crosby is a damn good football player. Holy hell, that guy can play. But Harbaugh, we come on here and we defend this guy from a lot of unfair criticism. All this is fair today. Pathetic. In year 14? How many years has he been coaching? He still doesn't know how to challenge. He still doesn't know how to make sure he conserves his timeouts for the times you need them most to actually stop the damn clock.
I feel like it's gotten worse. It hasn't gotten better. It's gotten worse over the years. I feel like he's starting to panic. You know what I mean? And to Sean's point, Sean Pisker says Harbs, Bateman, Harbs, refs, and Harbs cost this game.
How do you drop that ball?
Did I say Harbs because Harbs? Yeah. You talking about the interception?
How does Bateman let that ball get intercepted?
Yeah, that was a wild one.
First of all, not the best read. He threw it into some tight coverage, but he got it to him. Got it to him. Catch the rock. Pathetic, dude. Pathetic.
Yeah, and then it's this is another thing. We'll get to this, but it almost seems like Monken doesn't know how to use Mark and Isaiah without mitigating one another. It took till the second quarter, Glenn, because I watched very closely. You guys can go check. It took till the second quarter to get them on the field at the same time.
Did it?
Took till the second quarter. I watched every single offensive snap very closely to find them. Look, I could be wrong, but I tried to watch as closely as I could.
Broadcast, yeah.
Without having replay, and I did not see them on the field together until the second quarter, and I believe it was like 4 minutes left in the second quarter. Wild. Yeah. So, there's a lot of stuff. Lil X Nation says coaching disaster class. Harbs will deflect as usual.
So bad, dude. You know what, Jimmy? Is it okay for me to say this?
Oh boy,
I miss Greg Roman. Look, J.K. Dobbins, huh? Did I freeze? Did I freeze? Did I freeze? Or did anyone hear that? Did I break my internet when I said that? I might be missing Greg Roman, Jimbo. I mean, I might be missing because look, tell me Greg Roman wouldn't know how to use a combination of Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson in the backfield, and both Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews. Like I'm seeing what Dobbins is doing. I'm seeing what JK he's running all over the field. They absolutely dismantled the same Raiders team. They put by the way, Carolina might be the worst team in NFL history, but they put them in the dirt. I'm just saying, dude, like, I'm scared of our offense right now, Jimbo. I'm scared.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree with you. It's a weird combination of like, Monken has moments where he looks really smart and other moments where he just looks dumb. You know what I mean? And I guess every offensive coordinator goes to that to a certain extent, but there's just we can capitalize and we get too cute, think it just seems complicated than it needs to be. And then in moments where it needs to be complicated enough. Like it's a weird thing that's going on offensively, right? Like we figured out this thing on the outside with Derrick Henry in this defensive matchup. And finally, this is the first time I've seen Monken just stick with something because it's working.
Well, Jimbo, you didn't like the Charlie Kohler QB sneak attempt? Like, you mean you didn't think that was a genius call, Jimbo?
Like, what did we pay Derrick Henry for?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Charlie Kohler? What was that call? After they gift us 5 yards and give us 3rd and inches, they handed us the first down, and we go, all right, see, here's what we got. We got Lamar Jackson, and we got Derrick Henry. And we've been running the ball on him in the second half, where Derrick Henry had 5 yards in the first half, rushing at 80-something in the second. Here's what we're going to do. Hey, Kohler, where's your helmet? Get it. We need you to sneak the – what are we doing, Jimbo?
I couldn't tell you, Glenn. That's what I'm saying. It's like a simple thing made complicated. Why? It's just not necessary.
I don't understand.
Not necessary. And I just want to say this. There's only been one person in the chat saying this, but I've seen other people say this. Like, I wholeheartedly believe Mark Andrews is not cooked or bad or his talent has dissipated. Monken doesn't know how to use these two properly.
He does look slow, though. I think something looks weird about his I don't know. I know he intentionally sat in that zone.
Yeah.
John digging in his ass, like, bro, go. And even Lamar, like, threw it to him. He should have been running in stride and caught that. Instead, he falls down. But I don't know, man. Maybe
so you're not
Isaiah is so athletic that he makes Mark look less athletic.
So you're telling me that if Mark Andrews was the only true tight end on this team, he wouldn't have lit up the stat sheet like normally? You don't think that?
Oh, he might have been able to. Yeah, maybe they are kind of cannibalizing ones. Yeah.
And they're not being I just don't think they're being used well enough. I also think, anyway, I think a lot of things, obviously, but like Lamar, I do think tries to do a little bit of force feeding to Zay. Maybe not just Lamar, maybe also Monken. Like Zay's gotten open and things like that. But man, there's a million things to talk about here.
So much.
I don't really know, but this is my two biggest problems with this game, Glenn, are the penalties and the special teams. All the other stuff sucked too.
Yeah.
But these are the games that John Harbaugh wins as an elite coach because he's usually a better coach and he's usually got better special teams.
Yeah.
Even if it ends up being a close game, we end up squeaking out.
Pathetic special teams, Jimbo. Pathetic.
Yeah.
Embarrassing. Carlson, it only was rubbing salt in the wound when Carlson was going, Tucker, I'll show you how to do it in your own house. I'll show you how to easily split the uprights in your own backyard. It's shameful. And you said it perfectly about Stout. Now when the game's on the line to simply punt the ball far and try and flip the field, I have zero confidence in this guy.
Yeah.
Zero. Like,
now I'll tell you what they need to do, Glenn, is they need to go, hey, Cook, where's your helmet?
Yeah.
Right? Like, forget Kohler. Just get Sam Cook back out here, dude. I know he's on that sideline somewhere.
Yes. Yes.
It's not like he's spending any less time.
And you know what the shame is? We can't even talk about some of the good pass rush that we did see today. And we can't even celebrate some things that we wanted to talk about because it was such a disaster everywhere else on the field. And really, I was so hyped. I'm like, look, we're going to come in here and talk about the tale of two halves, how we just looked embarrassed in the first half, got it together in the second, only to absolutely just piss down our leg in the last half of the fourth quarter. It was shameful. Cedric says, wasn't PI. Harbs continues with terrible challenge calls. Lamar's got to be more accurate. Yeah, I mean, all those things. But, I mean, really, yeah, I mean, I guess all those things. But to me, Lamar was just such like I wouldn't even – we got so many problems, man. Like, we got so many problems. Lamar's I wouldn't put on the list as a problem. I mean, he wasn't perfect today, but holy smokes. Harb's 2 shit challenges. Like,
terrible.
The first replay, I don't even know if I needed it for the Devontae catch, but the first replay of Zay's, I saw it was an incomplete.
Yeah, and plus, and it's like, yeah, you're right. Like with Dante, you didn't need it. Second of all, because you saw it. Third, or first of all, because you saw it. Second of all, because, I mean, this guy knows he's Devontae Adams. His feet are in bounds.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are we really, you know what I mean? This is the play, this is the hill you want to die on, John? Like this one? I just don't get it. I don't get it. Shout out to Devin McShane. If you have a chat that you want to add in, if you put it in the regular chat, if DK happens to find it, he'll put it up there. But we appreciate Devin if it's just for support or not.
Definitely.
Wow, Glenn. Why do we always play cute with the BS calls? Yeah, I mean, Glenn was talking about that a minute ago. Of course, Charlie Kohler came in and had a QB sneak where Derrick Henry, of course, got a false start. But
Jimbo, can I just say this? Neither one of our outside corners can turn their head and find the ball.
No.
Like,
we can't.
What are they doing?
Yeah, I know.
Brandon Stevens, he turns. He's running up the sideline. He turns over his left shoulder.
Wrong shoulder.
What are you going to see? The sideline? The ball's coming this way, buddy. Like, what are they doing? Like, Nate Wiggins' injury, I hope to goodness that it wasn't anything long-term, because we need him to be out there. We need him to be getting better, because at the end of the year, if we have any chance, we're going to need that guy on the outside, because they can't find – like Marlon, to me, physical. Loved what he was doing up against the line of scrimmage. But, God, I mean, he can't find the ball when it's thrown.
Even on the touchdown, I kept thinking to myself, like, the fake that went to Devontae, I understand that, you know, look, I'm not an NFL player. I've never been in that situation. But I think in my head – because I do think in that moment, Marlon – like he saw the ball coming, and I swear he like did one of these, and he missed it both times. Like, it's a big football.
Yeah,
you see where Devontae's hands are. Like something. Like
if she has Ardarius ball skills.
That's what I'm saying. It's just a weird timing thing that he just can't seem to get right. Like, you know, Marlon makes me think of those kids. You know, those little league kids that will like swing at a strike and miss and like look at their bat.
Yep.
And it's
like there's a hole in it.
Yeah, Marlon. It's not the bat, dude.
No. There's not a hole in that glove. There's not.
Right. You know, you just missed. Oh, brutal. You're absolutely right. And part of me doesn't even, like, Brandon Stevens is one thing because you kind of know what you're getting, but I do expect a little bit more out of Marlon, who's a former All-Pro, who's the first-round pick, who's, you know, your resident number one corner, where to me, Brandon is still at that point where it's like basically just upside. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's at least
you're right. There's expectations are different. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. But, I mean, you expect both of them to be able to do it at this point. Yeah. Bronco says, I hate seeing the same issues we've dealt with in previous years, man. Penalties, blocking, routes being too congested, coaching challenges, etc. When do we fix these reoccurring issues? I mean, yeah, to some degree, damn it, Isaiah Likely almost snagged that ball at the end, which would have put us at the 35 and given a 52-yard field goal attempt, only for Justin Tucker to blow it.
There would have been no chance that he misses that.
I hope not, Jimbo, but he's 1 of 8 from 50 from his last 2 years.
But we'll never know.
We'll never know because, I mean, now in that play, having 2 guys on the sideline is reasonable. We need to get out of bounds. But damn it, it was another scenario where somebody else's guy came over and was actually the one who broke up the play. But yeah, I mean, you're right, Bronco. It's the same shit. And I'm so tired of hearing about, we're going to get it fixed. That same shit we're going to hear in the post-game presser. We're going to get it fixed. And Monken, he even said it. They let him off, Jimbo, with all these softball questions, dude. He even laughed and went, wow, that was soft after his last hit presser. Can we put some coals under his ass with this one, please? With the Kohler sneak?
Please, dude, something. Like, holy crap. Joshua Hunter says, is there any hope for this O-line? I want to be positive, but that was hard to watch. Coaching was also awful. Yeah, I mean, the offensive line is something we could spend the next 30 minutes talking about or more because, I mean, obviously they got demolished today. They got taken to school today. Yeah. It was just a rough game for the offensive line. Falele whiffed at air multiple times. Voorhees looked like doo-doo and a rookie multiple times.
McCary sucks.
Yeah,
right
well, he
now.
looked like a backup. I mean,
against Max Crosby, he sucks.
Right. He looked like a backup today. Rosengarten looked inexperienced.
Yeah. But at least he looked athletic. He was out there.
Yeah.
He was out there showing me something against
Well,
Max
you can
Crosby,
see why
dude.
something like the physical trait of length there makes such a big difference, because even if you are getting beat by Max, if you can just keep your hands on him, even though you're beat, right, you still get a millisecond more, or you know what I mean? So yeah, there's certainly things that McCary can't make up for.
Jimbo, if I don't see Ben in Cleveland at right guard next week, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind. How can you continue to say that Faalele is your best guard?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Like,
even I can't say it.
Yeah, like it's I don't. Doug says it right. McCary and Faalele to the bench. Yes, the right side is a massive, massive problem.
But this is the real problem for me, Glenn. Is like, I believe Eric DaCosta is one of the best GMs in the league. Why are we here in this situation? The buck to me stops with Eric.
Yeah.
Why don't we have more bullets in the chamber? More guys we can give an opportunity to develop.
Right.
Like, why are these guys the starters by default? Because it's nothing more than by default.
Yeah, it's bullshit. He took big position risks this year. The O-line and the edge group. It looks like right now the edge group isn't disastrous, right? Like Kyle Van Noy. I mean, what a crazy effort. He has the eye poke, the orbital bone. He's got the issue with the training staff. He plays in the game, gets 2 huge sacks despite not playing many snaps. And then my guy, Odafe Owe, I mean, I called Jimmy and I love it. I was ahead of him. He was on delay, so I called him after the first snap, and I got to hear his live reaction to what Odafe did to that left tackle. Like, 2.5 sacks. He's a quarter of the way to my goal, baby.
He is.
But he messed up bad when he first of all, shouldn't have got rid of Morgan Moses. If you want to argue Zeitler because of the cap space, I'll give you that. Morgan Moses' cap number, we went over it. It was minuscule. It was nothing.
Well, and even Zeitler's cap, like, what are we talking about at this point?
I mean, it was like, I don't know. I'd have to.
What would you rather do?
But at least you could say, all right, if you don't have Zeitler, you might not. Okay, you might not have Derrick Henry. Moses impacted no one with that little chump change of a cap hit. And how much better would this offensive line look with Morgan Moses at right tackle? Let's be honest.
You're right. Yeah. No, it's bad. But that's my issue. It's just such a perplexing thing, because think about and this is no knock, but what's Tez Walker doing right now for the Ravens?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Even what's TJ Tampa doing right now for the Ravens?
Yeah.
You know, like, imagine we could have had like average to above average guards in the 3rd and 4th round. They're on the board.
And they're playing good for other teams right now.
Right. So it just makes you wonder, like, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? It's weird that, like, when we had Greg Roman, we have no wide receivers. We have a great offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, why can't we? And now we have good weapons and no offense. Why can't we somehow?
But at least then we could say, all right, we can do this. Like, we know what we could do. We can run the ball like an MFer. What can we do right now that you feel great about?
Nothing.
I don't feel good about anything. Like, in spurts, we had moments. Doomgoy said it right. You cheap out on the O-line. You pay a top 3 back. This is what you get. I mean, you get moments where everything looks okay, right? Like, there's drives in the second half where we actually put things together. Let me see here. We're in the second half where we had a 6-play touchdown drive that covered 70 yards. We had a 9-play touchdown drive that covered 76 yards. You know, but then you end the game on 3 plays, 5 yards punt, 3 plays, -6 yards punt, 5 plays, 41 yards, end of game. Like, it's so fucking annoying. It's driving me crazy, man. You can't cheap out on the O-line. Look at every team makes a run at the chip. Do any of them have a bad offensive line ever? No, they never do.
And it's just weird that, like, the thing that's weird to me is that Eric is a bright dude. He's made great decisions in the past, but how would something like this, that's so simple, so easy to understand, get slide by? You know what I mean? It's so much more detrimental than having a bad wide receiver group, just like you said, because then at least you can put your flag down somewhere and say, we can run the hell out of the ball.
That's a good point.
You know, it's just so much more detrimental. So it's one thing to blame Eric for not having wide receivers in 19. It's another thing to be here, and much worse to be here and say, well, we put Voorhees, Faalele, McCary out there, 3 of 5 of our starters. What are we talking about? I don't know. I don't get it. Tone the Virgo says the Harbaugh philosophy is wearing out. I'm starting to board the fire Harbaugh train. It's time. 2 horrible challenges right side of our O-line. Still non-existent BS call on
Horrible
Stevens. I mean, I agree. So it's hard. Gosh dang it. If we look like this 4 games in, I'm ready to hop on the train too.
Dude, I might be starting to enter the ticket queue line, dude, if we're doing that in four games. I mean, this is pathetic.
Because a lot of it is squarely on coaching.
Yeah, certainly the wasting of timeouts with horrible. I shouldn't be able to see from my living room that it's not a catch, but he can't. Whoever the guy in the damn booth is, I need to talk to this guy. I need to have a conversation with whoever the hell he's trusting in the booth. Like, fire this man. Fire this man. Whoever's up there, fire that man, dude. Because I could do a better job from my home in the counties surrounding Baltimore. Like, it's literally, call me, John. I got you. No catch. And Devontae, of course he got his feet in bounds. Jesus Christ, it's Devontae Adams. It's every great receiver's favorite receiver. Son of a bitch. Karen Martin said, at this point, I'd say Harbs and Monk. Yeah, Monken has been this offense has been a disaster this year, Jimbo. It has. Mm-hmm. Disaster. Mm-hmm. Like, disaster. Like, embarrassingly bad. I mean, obviously, it starts with the offensive line, but both these performances, embarrassing.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's weird to think, like, last game we led the entire league in yards and production, but you got to get it done when the moments count the most, right? And in the red zone, inside the 20, third down, things like that. I mean, it's just, it's a tough. It's not a fun watch. Doom going 94 says coaching is reverse clutch. Heads must roll. What the F? Yeah.
They just blew the game. You get a 10-point lead. You just play to not lose it. You just stink up the joint.
Is it possible? This isn't a Lamar knock. Lamar's out of this conversation. Is it possible that Joe Flacco's inherent clutchness negated John Harbaugh's lack of clutchness? Like, who knows? I mean, look, early on, it was like John would win it on the road. He would win the tight games. He had the most wins in the NFL. As far as
he still does.
He still does. But, like, just saying. I mean, I don't. And this is a knock on Lamar. I'm just saying that, like,
so who's more blame, EDC or Todd Monken? I think JP brings a good question. EDC for the construction of that offensive line, or Todd Monken for, some of these disastrous performances?
To me, that's a tough question. I think I got to go with Eric. I think I do, because you only have what you have.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I can take Google AI, take a picture of what I have on my counter and say, make me a food out of this recipe. But if I got Pop-Tarts, pickles, hot sauce, and some cream of wheat, that food is only going to be so good.
Yeah, we might have to put this to a vote on the Twitter account, dude. We might have to make this a poll, DK. I don't know if that's possible. We need to know who's more to blame right now, Eric DeCosta or Todd Monken, because Todd Monken is doing nothing, in my opinion.
Where do you fall?
To help these guys. It's tough for me because I think it was a bad risk to risk that position group. Like you said earlier, I think if you're going to risk a group, it's not the O-line. Like, that's not the dice you roll. You roll the dice elsewhere, not with the most important group other than quarterback on the whole freaking roster. It's silly. And but at the same time, like, I don't think Todd Monken has done a lot to help these guys, and kind of emphasize maybe what they are good at and kind of mitigate some of what they're not good at. They both deserve a lot of blame. So to say who deserves more, it's a tough one for me, but I think I'd have to lean towards EDC because it's such a gamble with the most important position. And really, pass rush on defense might be the most important position in this league. In today's day and age, it might be the most important on that side. He gambled with that. It just paid off.
Today.
So far, yeah.
Yeah. Against Gardner Minshew and a terrible offensive line.
That's a good point, Jimbo.
But they did look good. Like, my bet aside, they looked good.
And they couldn't even run the ball. Remember, they just gave up running the ball.
Travis Jones and Michael. And I talked about this in our pregame. Like, the three, Travis Jones, and Michael Pierce were active. Not that Brady wasn't active, but they were in it. They were, breaking down the pocket, things like that. Your outside guys, of course, Adafe and even Ajabo seemed to have more motor. Like Ajabo seems to pick his plays sometimes, but Ajabo seemed to be higher motor today.
Mm-hmm.
I was happy with that as well. So yeah, right now it looks good. I hope it stays that way. But yeah, those are two huge gambles, man. Huge. Who gave this? This is the last thing I'll say before I get to Jay's comments. The hard part is like, who gave the sign off on trotting out that offensive line? So like ultimately, there's no one above Eric that's gonna say no, unless it's Ozzy, who like is like, Eric, hey, like this is your job, but this is also your job. So you're next on the line, not mine. So there's no one that's just gonna like, because Bisciotti's not the guy that's gonna like, Eric, he's not gonna get involved. He's not gonna do, he's not that way. The buck stops with him. Ultimately, we just needed more swings at bat at offensive line. Period.
Yeah, and you also have to remember we haven't even played the top-rated defensive player in the whole league last year. The last week was T.J. Watt. We haven't even played him. He was a game wrecker. He won the game for the Steelers last week, and we haven't played Myles Garrett. I think who was it said it earlier? It's bordering. It looks like JP says it's in this division with T.J. Watt and Myles Garrett. It's almost malpractice to put them out there. And look, maybe we. I think somebody said we thought this line was going to be good. Yeah, we thought this line had a chance to be good, but they obviously know it far more in depth. They see it in practice. What did we get? One trip to the practice facilities in this offseason. So they know it a lot better than we do. So it's certainly, more on them, I would say, than us being hopeful or optimistic about what could be.
Yeah, Jay Hunter says Harbaugh has been the guy from day one. Harbaugh has been fortunate, not good. Can you tell me what part of Harbaugh's games makes it an exceptional coach? The things I can tell you that traditionally I think of when I think of John Harbaugh: one, I think of his ability to build a staff. I think John Harbaugh's had some really good staffs in the past. Two, I think of his ability to develop players. Look at the late round picks that we've taken and have developed in players both offensively and defensively. I also think of some of John's in-game calls. Like John has made strategically good in-game calls in the past. I'm not saying he's been the best, but he's done some good things. And I also think that managing his players, managing and leading men is where John, to me, shines. But it's just the struggle bus right now, because a lot of those things
it's been a couple of years.
Yeah. No, it's
where the game management has been rough.
Yeah.
Rough, bro. It's been bad. Sean says, here's the thing. How many games has Harbaugh won when Lamar's been injured? The answer is on one hand. I'm a sick Ravens fan. Yeah, well, certainly. Yeah. Hasn't gotten it done. And look, no team's record is going to be good without your starting quarterback. But let's be honest. I mean, the Steelers have had a backup quarterback since Big Ben left. They've they've had a starter, but he's been a backup quality player, and they somehow always end up being.
We got beat by a backup quarterback today.
I mean, we've been swept by the Steelers for years. Like, we keep getting swept. And, yeah, Gardner owns us, which is crazy.
Just sickening. Sickening, dude.
Let's see, Mitty. Mitty says, I'm with you, Glenn, on the press conference. $5 says they will ask John what his favorite ice cream flavor is. Frustrating. I wish we kept McDonald's. Yeah, I don't understand. They asked Monken like 3 questions last week. Like, come on, guys. We've had these guys on our show. Like, ask some tough questions to these guys. Like, come on, man. This is bull. Like, I hope they ask about the damn challenge. Who is telling them? Please, if you guys saw the presser, because we obviously didn't, who is telling John when and when not to challenge?
Yeah, what's his name? Where can we find him? What's his address? No, I'm kidding. I'm no threats or anything like that. It was a joke. But how can we get him on the show, right? Because, like, we need to talk to him.
Yeah, it's pathetic, man.
Little X Nation says since 2002, 9 blown double-digit leads. Oh, 2022, not 2002. Woo! 2022. That's bad. That's really bad.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. Holy shit. I mean, Dr. Uncle Bob, shout out to Dr. Uncle, a.k.a. Drunkle. The only good thing about today's series here. No, there was a couple good things. Adafe Owe getting a quarter away to his goal was a damn fine day today. 2.5 sacks. Shout out to Adafe, putting on an absolute clinic out there. And look, we needed that, because if you're going to get if you're going to get multiple sacks on any quarterback, it's going to be Gardner Minshew behind that offensive line. So Needed it today. Quarter of the way home, baby.
Shout out, dude. Shout out to Dafe. Cito Kaibas, thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate always giving me the love. Says we can't even do special teams right. What does John do aside from waste timeouts? I always praised EDC, but this O-line is beyond malpractice. It's straight up. It's like this: as you have a fiduciary duty as a GM to protect your quarterback at all times, and it seems like he's absolutely failing at his fiduciary duty to protect Lamar Jackson. It's a problem, man. So yeah, Cito, it's hard to disagree with you on anything. Yeah, like John's specialty. Everyone talks about former special teams coach, former special teams, and it's like, yeah, your special team sucks butt right now, dude.
Yep.
Like,
yep. And now one thing I will give him a little bit of credit in that I like the fact that we didn't see Lamar Jackson once again being deployed as the lead ball carrier, 18 carries. No, he goes down to just five carries this game. And Derrick Henry gets the 18 carries. I did like that. I just wish we would have stuck with Derrick Henry at the end of the game after we were bludgeoning their defensive line, had them on their heels, punishing them, and then we come out 3 and out, 5 and out.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Doug Cruson says, Benjamin Carey and Falala. I like that. Can we, and I don't know if that's on purpose or not, but that's good. Can we trade Bateman for an O-lineman? Yeah, right. No one wants Bateman. Need wide receivers. Refs are killing the game. Glenn, I feel a baconator. Run, Henry. What are we doing? Well, Glenn, I'm glad you finally got some wind in yourselves because it was feeling too easy for a while and you were getting a little discouraged. I don't like a downtrodden Glenn. You know? So I'm glad that now look, just be aware that he's probably going to leave you at the altar at 9.5 sacks.
He's going to break my heart.
Dude, he's just going to leave you right at the altar, dude.
Nah, he's going to get it this year. He's going to get it. 2.5 today. When do they play another trash quarterback that holds the ball? 2.5 that day.
Look, I think the other games you got to circle the Steelers games and the Bengals games. Just because Joe Burrow holds on to the ball so long.
That's true. And their offensive line's
banged up. Yeah. And the Steelers games, because both of those quarterbacks are going to have to hold on to the ball. Russ is part of his game. And same thing with Justin or what's his name? Oh my gosh. Fields. Yeah. Justin Fields to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. So I think those are your other money games too.
Yeah, Justin Fields could be a good one. Now, I love how he says trade Bateman and then need wide receivers. Get rid of Bateman, dude, and trade for a different one because he ain't it. I thought he made some nice plays early in the game. He had one really nice grab, but yeah, dude, you can't let that ball bounce off your hands. That totally changed the game. And look, I don't want to be a ref guy. No, they don't. I don't want to be a ref guy, but dude, something is goofy when we have 11 penalties to their 2. Like our penalties are questionable. Like, how does there not a person upstairs going, guys, he grabbed it. He simply mauled his chest and did not touch his face mask. Like, how is that not? How are we still dealing with this in today's day?
Do you think that they don't like John? Do you think he's annoying on the sidelines?
I mean, he was mean mugging him, but I see way more coaches. Like, you don't think they hate his brother way more?
Oh, they have to.
They got to, dude. Like,
because it's got to be incessant. That's the thing about Jim. You can tell he's a little brother because it's just all day, never shuts up. You know, it's like, holy crap, Jim, we get it.
But yeah, bench both those guys, Doug.
Yeah. I mean, what do we lose? I don't know what we lose.
There's no way they can go, yeah, we think Cleveland would be worse. There's no way they say that.
Same thing with Rosengarten.
Right. There's no way. There's no way. The only thing that keeps me happy, Marcus Orr says James Crochet is better than Rashad Bateman. Stop it. You can't be, right?
Yeah.
Right?
But maybe it's time for Tylan Wallace to get some more play.
I think that's fair. Is it too early to say I've seen enough of Nelson Aguilar, Wallace, and Hardy? Need to bring up Dayton Wade. Well, it was a nice return from Hardy.
Yeah, Hardy had a nice return.
Real nice return, but I will say
this. He almost broke that one.
I don't know if you guys remember because he did. I don't know if you guys remember. This is a very specific play, but Nelson Aguilar had a play where Lamar was rolling out to the left and he threw the ball to him, and Nelson Aguilar was standing out of bounds
and went like this
and was like, "Calm down, Lamar. Like, stay in bounds." And that's a 5-yard catch, and you walk out, and then you step out of bounds, and the play is stopped. Like the clock is stopped. Why are you standing out of bounds?
I don't think he was standing out of bounds. I think what happened was he had already stepped out.
But why?
I mean, accidentally, I think was. Anyway, but yeah, it was a weird thing.
Like,
I'd like to see Wallace get some more play. Kind of same thing. What do we lose? Bateman isn't
Right.
lighting it up.
Right.
Now, Aguilar isn't lighting it up. I don't know.
Yeah, and I did like what I saw out of Hardy, though. I thought he almost popped it, dude. So
And
close.
you can tell that he's so. I'm going to eat crow here, but certainly you could tell that he's an experienced returner of the football in that play because his moves were not. They were highly efficient.
Yeah, he was
it wasn't. You know what I'm saying?
Blockers. Yep.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing. I mean, you could tell he's an experienced pro at that point.
Yeah, he called for the ball out of bounds. Yeah, like I didn't rewatch that play. I was like, what
it's
are
funny
you
because
doing,
the first
Nelson?
time I saw it, Glenn, I thought that he wasn't in the play.
Right.
And like he was just on the sideline and Lamar threw it to him in like a panic move.
Like, what are you doing? Why?
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, what are you doing so close to the field? And then I was like, oh crap, he was actually in the play.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that was frustrating. Sasha says it seems like at this point Lamar has to be Superman for us to win. Yeah, it really does. I mean, it's super
But
annoying.
at what point can we just simplify things and say these are the 4 or 5 guys that are going to touch the ball? Lamar's going to touch the ball. Zay's going to touch the ball. Derrick Henry's going to touch the ball. Mark Andrews and what's his name? And Isaiah Likely. And like, let's just let's live and die with it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, or just get down to the run the ball, play action off of it, keep them honest by challenging them down the field on occasion. Again, using the play action to buy more time. These crazy ass weird play calls. I don't.
And that's my point. I think we're saying the same thing in that, like, let's take 60% of playbook and just rip it out and see how things go.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah. So let's see, who's this? Is this D Davis? Is that how that works? That's cool. Marlon got shout out for being a community member, by the way. Marlon got beat for Pickens TD to lose to Pittsburgh. Yeah, remember that. Beat for Worthy touchdown to lose to Kansas City. He didn't get beat. That was a blown assignment. Understand your point though. Beat by Devontae touchdown today to lose. Our top cornerback can't keep failing at big moments. Yeah, I mean, we drafted a guy early. He just got in a car accident.
Yeah.
But yeah, I understand your point. It's not like Nate Wiggins would have been taking all Marlon Humphrey snaps today, but tough day. Tough day, certainly for.
And the ball was thrown a little behind Devontae on that touchdown too.
So that's what I mean. Remember, I was talking about earlier. It was like it just seemed like he had so much time.
Yeah.
To just like Marley, you don't have to catch it. I'm not asking you to be Deion Sanders.
Get in there.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Just get in there with your hands, man.
Like, this is it. This is all you had to do. Just take your hand, put it between the ball and the quarterback and the offensive player. Like, that one seemed to me abundantly simple. I don't know.
Yep.
Because Adams grabbed it. You know what I mean? He's kind of like he had already turned because it was behind him, like you said, and he kind of grabbed it towards himself. He had all that time. It was just weird.
Marlon's got to be better, man. But he had an interception today, right?
Did have an interception today. I don't know
who that was play.
Supposed to be thrown to.
Yeah, I don't know either, but it was a nice interception. Got to give him credit for that.
Yeah. Quan says, can Aguilar get physical and jump? Lamar threw a bomb to him down the sideline and he wait for the ball instead of attacking it. I'm done with Harbs. Yeah, so that was weird. I don't know why you catch a go route in a basket fashion unless you're absolutely wide open. When the defender's on your hip, Glenn has talked about it all the time. You go get the football.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's just weird to me that somebody would do this. So, yeah, I mean, the only thing for me is that, like, I'm not expecting Nelson Aguilar to be a number one wide receiver. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Why can't we throw that route? Who can we throw that to that is going to, like, forget it?
No, but
like
he's a former first-round pick, though.
He is, but, I mean, he certainly hasn't, his career hasn't turned out as a first-round pick. My point is that, like, let's get Likely in that scenario and throw him a go route. Let's get even Mark. I know anybody can say slow, that's fine, but Mark is going to high point the ball and make you use every inch of your body to stop him catching the football. Like, who else can we put in that scenario other than a guy that's going to basket catch it and has memes about his hands not catching the football?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And he's done with Harbs. Yeah. Always blessed. 410 Warzone. Shout out for being a new community member. I think you joined today. Appreciate it. What's up, fellas? After this loss, I might change my name back to Always Angry, LOL. Oh, I do remember that. After this loss, I don't see how we beat Dallas or any team with a decent pass rush. Ravens fan to the death of me. Well, Dallas got smacked today. I never am too worried about the Dallas Cowboys because they're still the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know.
At home, by the way, home opener got absolutely obliterated. Dude, the Saints blew out we thought it was like, oh, it's Carolina the first week, right? They're not really that good. And then they go into Dallas and go, oh, yes, we are really that good. Yeah, dude. Whew, they're tough, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we saw them Saints, Kevin. They are tough, bro. There it is. Appreciate the membership.
Yeah.
It's just, man, it's just, here's, I think, what's got most Ravens fans so scared and nervous and pissed off is that it doesn't look like this is going to get better. Especially when you look at who's on the horizon on our schedule. Jimbo, tell me if this is going to get better, Jimbo. Help me.
Yeah, no, and that might, so to add to your point, Sean Pisker saying, guys, I love you, but this hurts. What is going on? Like, how is this reality? Where do we even go from here? So to your point, Glenn, and that's why I feel like I'm emotionally just preparing myself for this for 15 more times or 14 more times, whatever it is. Because I don't know. We're not getting a top flight tight end. What? We have two. We're not getting a top flight offensive lineman. Even if we bring in Cleveland, it's not like Ben Cleveland is a savior. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's not Zeitler.
Right. And Rosengarten, certainly, even if we go purely Rosengarten, he's still going to show areas of growth that he needs to have as he continues to mature into that position. So I don't know, Sean. I'm just buckling in. I'm just what's the word? What am I trying to say? I'm hunkering down.
Yeah. 10 toes down. We're in it for the long haul. We ain't going anywhere.
That's all you can do, man.
I guess we can only hope that something clicks, but I get very nervous. Look, when you lose that game, how do you have confidence when you see who's up in front of us? Like, it's so many tough games.
This is the only thing I'll say, though, Glenn. Yesterday, I called you. I was dying. And I was having some bowel movement problems in my race yesterday. Luckily, I clutched my mud. But at the end of it, I was texting my sister, and I was pretty disappointed about it. And I was like, I don't know if my goals that I set for the end of the year are going to come to pass. And she was like, you haven't even showed up to the start line yet. What are you talking about? Like, you still got to show up and do the thing. So, like, to me, we just got to say, look, we're going to have to show up every Sunday, Thursday, whatever day the game is. And the games still have to be played. And so it doesn't look good today. It didn't look good today, but the games still have to happen. And so there's always going to be an opportunity, and that provides our team with an opportunity to go out there and have the performance of their lifetime, right?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, look, I hope that the team responds well. I hope that we don't start to see pointing fingers. We don't start to see whisperings and Harbs loses the locker. I hope we don't see that. I hope this team has veterans on this team that can kind of get them to bounce back. And the good news is it's very obvious, like Kansas City could beat the Bengals today and Denver could beat Pittsburgh today. And we could only be really one game out of first place in reality, because first place is going to have one win in our division. So it's not like,
I didn't even check. Did Cleveland already lose?
Nah, Cleveland won, so they have. But didn't they lose last week?
1-1.
Yeah,
they
so
lost
they're 1-1. Week, yeah. They're 1-1, and so I expect at best.
Who did you start?
Huh?
Who'd you start today?
Over in what game?
In fantasy.
In what position?
Quarterback.
Oh, Baker Mayfield.
Did you? Did Deshaun Watson happen to go off today? I saw he had a good first half, didn't he?
He had a good first half, but Baker had like a 70-yard bomb to Godwin, and he had a 10-yard rushing touchdown. So he had a pretty good game. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. I hope that they can can kind of bounce back and get things going in the right direction. This division's still very much so up for grabs. It's just disheartening to see how they played this today specifically, more so than last week.
No, I agree. And that's why I feel like calloused. Like, at least I'm trying to put that off anyway. But Doug Cruzen says Kirkwood or Wade is a better option than Bateman. This is why we need a big wide receiver like Adams. Trade for DK. You guys down to meet up at the Commanders game? That would be. Let's see. When is the Commanders game? Glenn, are you going to the Commanders game?
Not that I know of. But I guess it's possible. If we do, absolutely, we would meet up. There's no doubt about it.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. But to his point,
is Kirkwood? Look, maybe Bateman. Look, that's a bad drop.
That's been a bad few years. Let's be honest.
And maybe I tell you what, I might be not Kirkwood.
No, he's so
no.
big though.
He is. But does he get open?
Right. No, I hear you.
I don't know if I just don't think Bateman's a good fit for us. I just don't see it. Not for this offense, and maybe not
He's
for
going to end up
Lamar.
in Kansas City, right?
Well, look, we saw what happened to Hollywood. We were nervous about Hollywood. Now he's gone for the year. So
yeah. Actually, Kansas City isn't a good fit for him. He doesn't do well with ad lib football.
No, I think he needs a more timing, precise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Sean, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Sean Pisker says, for those of you that are listening, don't forget the Ravens had 10 days to prepare for this game, and this is how they played. Yeah. Well, I do expect, it's funny, I expect them, but John doesn't generally make them. I expect some sweeping changes at the offensive line.
You expect what?
Sweeping changes at the offensive line.
Well,
DK
by
doesn't
sweeping, you
see
mean
it.
the whole right side.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I expect 2 different starters at the right side the next game.
Please, guys, because it's Micah Parsons. Like, right? Isn't it the Cowboys game next?
Yeah, on my son's birthday.
Jimbo, I hope. Well, at least you'll have a good day. In that
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, for sure.
I think Jermaine Johnson tore his Achilles for them, for the Jets. Remember, Jermaine Johnson was the pass rusher everybody wanted us to take.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and then DK saying, and then after that we got Von Miller. Yeah, the gauntlet is the
and
gauntlet.
then we still haven't seen Myles Garrett twice, TJ Watt twice. Yeah, Mr. Thomas John did get out coached today. And I tell you what, it hurt a little bit seeing Marvin Lewis standing on their sideline.
It did.
That one stung a little bit, dude. And he still looks the same. How does he look the same as he did from our Super Bowl? Just a little grayer, but other than that, the same he did when he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's crazy. But Sean, you're right, man. You didn't have to bring that up, man. You did not have to bring that up.
Yeah. That was a rough one. Rough day. I think as far as competition goes, we'll probably do that on Tuesday like we did last time.
Yeah.
Kind of probably start making that a thing just so we can focus more on the game for this, and then we'll get to the competition. But if you submitted your submissions, obviously we'll get to them on the Tuesday show, so stay tuned. You got other stuff you want to talk about? Get off your chest?
No, that's it. I got nothing else.
I mean, obviously we'll talk about it more on Tuesday. Where do the Ravens go from here? We'll react to the pressers. So we'll see if we can read between the lines to see if they are willing to make some changes up front.
Oh, I think we got one more super chat, right?
Oh, do we? No, DK said we're up to date.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, okay, cool. But I think that's it for us, folks. Let's hang in there. And look, it's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's 2 weeks. I'm just trying to keep it in perspective
Yeah.
the best I can. But let's hang in there, folks. And come back next week. But either way, we'll see you on Tuesday. Now, to break down a little more, we'll get into the stats. We'll get into snap counts. Like I said, I think the biggest thing, Glenn, will be getting into the pressers and our feelings on whether or not they're actually going to make some changes to the O-line, amongst other things. But that's it for us, folks. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good evening.
See you.